Strawberry flavored Funyuns, and today you might be noticing I'm not using my new intro. Why? Because I had some kinks with it. But anyways, today I've got a video for you, and you've been working very hard. You've been saving up your money, and you've got one of the new 7th generation iPads. That's very fast and came in very strange plastic that was sliding for some reason. And today I'm going to be figuring out how durable this thing is. Because you might want to make sure your iPad doesn't break. So let's get started. I moved my filming location because where I live, the wind just kind of blew down part of the fence where I record. So, yep, now I'm recording somewhere else for a bit until that spot gets fixed. So, yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so let's get started with a nice, fall off the lap. So, like, saying you're squatting down like this, you're getting ready to leave, and you do that. How does it fare? Well, nothing's really gone that bad. It's just a normal iPad still works, still fine. Nothing seems to have happened with that. So, now let's say that you're getting it out. You've been putting it somewhere, you're doing some harder jobs, and you accidentally do that. Oh, well, that wouldn't be good for you, because actually, it did crack. So, don't do that. And sometimes you might be having a little bit of a harder day, and you just want to play some games on your iPad. So you're playing your game, all fun, and what? Ow, this guy was hacking. He was hacking. So then you get really mad and throw it onto the ground. Well, you shouldn't do that. As you can very easily see, it's not very drop proof. So don't do that. So now that you've gotten your iPad all shattered, you're going to the Genius bar, and then he gets so scared because the glass is dropping everywhere. So he throws it. And let's see how he does. Well, the iPad is all scratched up along the side, so that's not faring too well for the iPad. There's not much more glass missing. So you're just you're just being annoyed that the Genius threw your iPad, but it still works. You're having a fun time with it. You're still playing that game, and then the iPad, it starts to smoke. It starts to catch fire. It's getting warm. It's getting toasty. So you get very scared and throw it. Well, if you did that, the screen would probably crack very badly. Then you get so mad at it that you yeet it at the ground like this. Yeet! And that would not be good for you because it seems that the yeet hasn't done it very well. So you get ready to leave and you just toss it on the ground because now it's just dead. So then you start stepping on your way out and then come right back because you forgot your phone. Okay, now to leave again. Okay, at the end of your day, then you come right back. So let's see how it fared. The back seems a little bit scuffed, but it seems like your iPad's glass covering has kind of come off. So then you try to shake it to see if all the loose glass will come off. And it starts to, then it kind of like, and it seems to have fallen off. So now you're just left with your display panel. So then you try to so then you get annoyed that this thing fell off, so you toss it to the side, like you should. You don't want to get cut. So then you check out the display panel underneath. You know it still could be fixable, but then you realize something. The display panel is cracked. It's bleeding. So then you get so mad that you really throw it, like that. And when you check on it, it hasn't done anything to fix your problems. Oh wait guys, where'd the home button go? I just noticed that the home button's kind of missing. Don't know what that is. The home button is missing. Guys, sorry to broke character, but the home button's missing. Oh God. But then you realize, oh wait a minute, the new iPads don't have home buttons. So then you try to bring it right back to the Genius Bar so they can replace it, because this iPad has sort of bent. And Genius Bar does sometimes replace the iPad Pro without the home button that bends. But then they realize that your bent iPad is an older one, because it was the same Genius from last time. So you get really angry and do this. And then the Genius goes, oh, are we wasting money now? I'd love to do that. And does this. At that point, your iPad is kind of toast. But you have one last hope. Maybe if you find a different Genius at a different Apple store, he can fix it for you in all its bent glory. So you bring it to another Apple store. And he tries to repair it, but it really doesn't do anything because he couldn't. Because basically at this point, you'd have to replace the whole thing. So you get angrier and angrier, and the anger builds up inside until you do this. Then you realize, hey, that's not gonna fix the iPad. So what you do is you watch a YouTube video on how complex it is to open up an iPad, and you think, doesn't seem too hard. So you get yourself ready for opening up the iPad, but you clearly didn't plan enough, because when you opened the iPad, it didn't work right. And since it was all bent, you accidentally puncture the battery and it starts flaming again. So you get really angry and really scared at the same time and do this. When you're trying to stomp out the flames, you're stomping on the iPad. So then you really don't have that much you can do now. So you try to lie down and sit down for some Netflix. And then you realize, wait, my iPad's not turning on. So then you hook it up to your computer, and as it turns out, the iPad is completely 100% dead. But you fear not, because you somehow fixed your iPad, and it works again. And you are watching your Netflix all happy that you fixed the iPad, but then something really scary comes out on Netflix. And you get really angry and really scared. Hope that you haven't completely destroyed your iPad again. So you pick off the display in hopes that that you can actually fix it or something. This thing is really held on. Then you you realize that it's kind of hard to pull it off. So you really just try to use your hammer to just loosen the adhesive. So you finish pulling, and despite all your tries, the iPad screen still doesn't come off. So then you get really angry and slam it on the ground. Then the backside, completely ruined. It gets all dirty. You realize you can't even take off the screen and the guts and put this on your wall because it's all ruined. So you hit the backside with a hammer because you're so angry that it didn't work right. Then you realize, oh no, I've only made it worse. And then you try to power it on, but to your surprise, it doesn't power on. I wonder why. So then you get so angry, you rip the screen off, slam it down in all its glory. Then you realize it's only you, the battery, and the board left. So then you try to extract the board. Maybe it'll still have my information on it. And maybe it will still work if we put it into a different iPad. But then you realize something. The board is held on to the battery. So you have to pry out the board. But the board isn't budging. So you pull really hard and the whole thing falls off. So then you really pull, and the whole board falls apart. So now you've got your beautiful logic board, your Apple design logic board. Then you really want to see if you can pry off the battery. But then you decide, hey, it was smoking earlier, so we shouldn't do that. So instead, you try to bend the iPad to see if this iPad bends as well. And the battery bends, and the iPad bends. And in all its glory, the iPad is now kind of destroyed. But fear not. You've got your logic board. You've got your board. You can bring it to an Apple store and see if they'll insert it into a new one. So you bring the amazing logic board to the Apple store and bring it with its old thing. And then you learn something. They won't be able to do it? What? So then you get really angry and you throw the board down and you get the iPad and you completely end it. Once you've game ended the iPad, then you think, hey, I should really go for some anger management. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I spent all my money on this iPad that just died. So now I can't afford anger management. And that throws you off. You destroyed this iPad and tried to get anger management so you don't do stuff like this again. But because you destroyed the iPad, now you can't afford to do it. So you really get angry and you really bend it. And it's just not looking too good anymore. So then you decide, hey, maybe we can sell it off as a Galaxy Fold. So you try to fold it some more. And it really starts to fold. And it really is starting to get folding. But then no one buys it on your eBay listing. I wonder why. So then you get angrier and angrier. You couldn't afford anger management. You couldn't get your iPad fixed. You couldn't sell it on eBay as a Galaxy Fold. So that just throws you off the edge. Until your iPad looks like this. you realize, hey, maybe we can sell some of the parts for enough. So you get your ruined display and try to sell it on eBay as a display. But it doesn't work. It doesn't sell. And you don't get any money to get a new one or anger management class. So you get angry at it too. Until it just collapses. And then you see, hey, maybe I can sell this board cover. But it doesn't sell, so you fold it up. Because who wants a board cover? You don't know what this is, so you toss it on the ground. And this logic board, you decide that you're just going to destroy it if it doesn't sell, and it probably won't sell. So you don't try to sell it. But you do get angry, and you do attack the camera module. You attack the camera module like a vicious beast. And then you try to unbend the iPad so you can try to give it away. And people won't run. But then the iPad starts to split like a banana split. Instead, you decide you're done with the iPad. You slam it on the ground and you check out your different bits left. Your poor board cover, your poor battery and housing. Then you get angrier and your anger flows throughout the iPad and you bend it until it snaps in two. And you slam it on the ground because you hate your life and everything else in it. And then you realize, hey, I still have one last thing that still works. The logic board? No. You probably damaged it in the process of taking it out. The Apple logo. And you're happy that you paid so much money just so the Apple logo would work. All those long hours, those hard jobs, all for nothing. The last thing that sort of resembles something working. This. So then you go onto your favorite site, YouTube, and you pull up strawberry flavored Funyuns. Me, right here. And then with the little thing that you can use it for, you use its last breath to subscribe. Please subscribe. This costs money. So then you realize, oh wait, I'm dreaming. And when you wake up, it looks like you're just dreaming about the iPad working. And then you realize that it'll never work again, and you're totally screwed because now you're in debt, because you're in college. You're burned out because you were working those odd jobs, and you're probably in danger because the battery is completely shreked. And the last thing you've got to your name is this Apple logo, this hammer, and this board. So you decide to make a YouTube video. You make a YouTube video about how dumb you are. And everyone watches it and everyone laughs at you. And you have enough money because it's monetized. And then but you get super mad since you thought that everyone would feel sympathy for you, but no one did. So you get angrier and angrier and angrier until you realize you're stupid because you destroyed an iPad and you deleted the video, which I forgot to tell you that's what happened because you out of anger. So now you don't have any money from the monetization. So now the iPad is toast. So you just give it a little more hit. And you realize, hey, there's still a headphone jack here. And you don't want anything to be left of it. So let's just hit it. Then you hold a funeral for it. realizing you never even turned it on in the first place. Realizing that you spent so much money for it just to go to waste and turn into this. And then you realize you're dumb and you should never use technology again. So you hold a funeral for your iPad. Your iPad, the beautiful iPad that you destroyed. And that's your last Apple product. And then you realize, wait, iPads are just iPads. They're not even iPhones, they're MacBooks. So then you get hope. You get hope. And you think, and you go on eBay and buy iPhones and MacBooks. And could it be? Are you giving yourself a second chance? An iPad. And then you actually use the products how they're intended to be used. The end. Now for the after story. You use those products happily, and then you decide to destroy your iPad further that you originally got because you hate how you were so dumb and you wanted to erase everything from there. So you bop it up and you destroy what is left of it. Everything. Everything. Like the board, and the battery, and the casing of the iPad with a strange arm motion. And nothing is left with the iPad. The iPad is in smithereens. Everything is gone. And you're ready to move on to your next Apple product.